Hello and welcome back to Everything Boats with Captain Frank Lanier, where we discuss boats and boating, from maintenance and repairs to seamanship and safety, as well as everything in between. This podcast is a companion to my YouTube channel of the same name, so if you like and find it useful, be sure to subscribe and please check out my YouTube channel as well, where you'll find hundreds of informative videos on pretty much every boating topic imaginable. So today's podcast is based on a segment of my YouTube channel called Ask Captain Frank. And this is where I take questions from my YouTube channel viewers, customers of my marine survey business, or just people randomly calling me up trying to get me to answer shit for free. So today's topic came about from a few questions I received over the last 4 or 5 surveys, and it involves eager buyers. And it seemed to me like these eager buyers were doing stuff to their own detriment. In other words, it was like, Captain Frank, please save me from myself. So we're going to discuss three things that eager boats do that hurts themselves when purchasing a new boat. So the first scenario, you've got a buyer. I had a buyer that came to me and said, okay, I want to purchase this boat. We got it in a contract, but it's kind of inconvenient for the sellers to arrange for me to haul the boat out. So I would rather just purchase the boat without hauling the boat out. In other words, the boat's in the water. So rather than go through the hassle of taking it to a haul out facility and raising the boat out of the water and cleaning it so that you can do your inspection of the bottom, let's just forget that. So I have to, tell them, you know what? My company policy is that for a pre-purchase survey, if I can't inspect the bottom, I can't inspect the hull, the running gear, then I just don't do it. I don't do the survey. That's just my company policy. And the reason I don't do it is not because that, it affects me as far as, well, it's less work, right? If I do a survey, don't have to inspect the hull or running gear, that would be less work. You would think, okay, well, that's all right. Well, it's not, because it does a disservice to the buyer. I mean, there's a lot of stuff can go on, bad stuff below the waterline, problems with the hull, problems with the running gear, prop shafts, sail pods, whatever they have. So it is a disservice to yourself to try and do a pre-purchase and survey without having the boat hauled and inspecting the hull and running gear, no matter how much of an inconvenience it is. Also, it costs a little bit of money, but it is part and parcel of buying a boat. You got to know what the condition of the hull and running gear is. So, number 2, this is another scenario I have. I do a pre-purchase survey, let's say for a customer or a client, and they want to try to do things in addition to, let's say, the haul out, for example, right? So I'll have I may have a client say, okay, we're going to haul the boat out. And what I would like to do is, in conjunction with that, I want to leave it out for a couple of days, paint the bottom, and do this, do that, whatever. And I have to tell them, I said, look, you haven't even bought the boat yet. This is a pre-purchase survey. In a perfect world, the way this kind of works is you would have the survey done. You get the survey report, 3 to 5 business days is typically what I say. You get the survey report, you go through it, you look at the items that need to be addressed, then you go back to the seller and you negotiate how you're going to do it. You negotiate whatever repairs and stuff are needed. And I did a video for that too a while back. I will post the link to that video in the description section below. And you guys always look at the description section because there's plenty of stuff there and information and links typically in all of my videos. Particularly, I would look at maybe my 60-second survey videos, maybe number 400. I would definitely take a look in there. So anyway, when you as a buyer plan on doing stuff in addition to the survey, in other words, you're going to haul a boat, I want to leave it out for a couple of days, paint the bottom, do all this stuff. Now you're putting unnecessary skin in the game, right? You haven't even bought the boat and you're talking about doing work on it. Well, that right there erodes your ability to, negotiate any fines or do, recommendations, anything like that, because now you've got skin in the game. In addition to the haul out, now you're going to be spending money on whoever's boat it is, and they know it. So they know they kind of got you a little bit of a hook there because you're doing stuff to their boat. You're putting money in it.
and they assume you're just going to buy it, and that's kind of the way that works. So when you're buying the boat, don't plan, no matter how tempting it is, don't plan on doing additional work. You think, well, I'm already paying for the haul out. I might as well try to get as much money out of this haul out as possible. You haven't even bought the boat yet. So let's don't do any of that stuff. Let's wait until, you have a chance to review the report, you make your decision, you negotiate, then you talk about, whatever work and stuff you're going to do to it. The third situation that I typically encounter with an eager buyer is they don't follow up on the kind of information that they should during the buying process. And I'll give you a perfect example. The broker says, well, Joe, he replaced the motor back in 2019, or he replaced the standing rigging on the sailboat, whatever it is. Joe did something and it's good and it improves the value of the boat, right? But they don't ask for, the paperwork, the receipts. From a buyer's perspective, lacking documentation to the contrary, if the broker or the seller says they've done something, if they can't provide paperwork, receipts, we assume it hasn't been done. Now, yeah, we like to, trust, and believe, but what you should really be doing is trust and verifying, right? And they may say, well, Joe, he changes the oil and stuff himself on all the engines, does all the maintenance. Well, okay, that's fine. Then Joe should be able to provide receipts for the oil filters, the oil, whatever materials he's used to do this maintenance. So again, in a nutshell, from a buyer's perspective, if they can't provide documentation, then we assume nothing's been done. Okay, if they can provide the paperwork that it's been done, all well and good. But when you're buying a boat, particularly with stuff like maintenance and repairs, maintenance on the engine, repairs to the hull, whatever, you need documentation, paid invoices, of showing and documenting that this stuff has been done.
I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. And if so, and you want to buy Captain Frank a cup of coffee, please click on the support link in the text description below. All monies received, not spent on coffee, will go towards making even more awesome podcasts for my channel. And as always, thank you for your support.